The vault has been sealed. I've been sealed into the room. Oh, fuck. I got chicken kebabs. Oh, fuck, ready. Oh, man. Oh, I don't even know where to start. Where, Christ. Then make sure the dog's locked down. All the regular things, you know. Check. Soundproofing the room. Check. Is it locked down? Check. Is the dog locked out? Check. Because the dog's going to want to smell chicken. Like, he's going to smell chicken. He's going to be like, are the kids going and doing their extracurricular activities? Yes. Like, you know, is everybody taken care of? Yes. All the boxes have to be ticked, you know. Have I had a 2-hour fucking bath? Fuck, yes. Probably longer, for fuck's sakes. You know me, because then, like, my ADHD and I get sidetracked. So, you know, things happen. So, yeah. This week, I'm not going to lie to you. This week has been, like, the last 2 weeks. I cannot be untruthful and say they've been something. And I know I say that a lot. I somehow say that all these weeks have been, you know, it's been something, you know, because I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever. But, like, no, but it really has been something. Number one, like, this is funny. This is hilarious. Let's start it off on a happy note, because a lot of this is going to be on a sour and sad and not great happy note. You know what I mean? So let's start it off on something silly. You know, on a silly note. So this week, I was someone commented on something with Kitty. It was like an old school Kitty thing. They tagged me in it. I think they tagged me. I don't know if they tagged me on the podcast or they tagged me on the grooming company, but either way, they tagged me. A bunch of people were like, "Oh, hi, Tanya." I was like, "Oh, hi, how's it going?" And someone commented, "You don't even look 42. You look over 62." And I was just like, huh? I was so confused by the comment. I was just like, number one, I didn't respond back, but in my head I was like, number one, I'm 41. Number two, 62. Really? That's funny. I'm like, you're hilarious. So it was like a troll account. So I was just like, block, delete. So this week I got called 62. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 62 this week. I'm feeling older than I am. Feeling my age. This week, we're taking all the hits, fucking ladies. Like, seriously, fuck. Like, of course, there's going to be laughs on this episode, right? Like, it's me. Like, you can't mess with that. You got the shit that you can't fuck with. And of course, I'm going to allude to a few dirty, inappropriate tales, including a few of my own. And how not to get searched up at a concert by Mr. Touchy McFucking Feely McFucking security guard. And also, pina colada breast milk and concerts. And, like, again, with not getting felt up at concerts, how do you get that into concerts? And I'm also going to share what made me break up with someone immediately, like literally immediately, because it was so graphic, so disgusting, and they grossed me out so bad that I was just like, yeah, no, it's not happening. It made me feel so embarrassed and objectified. It shocked me and violated my senses. Let's just say it had to do with Insane Clown Posse. So I'll pass the Faygo. Like, I'll drink like the Faygo juice and everything like that, but I will no. Insane Clown Posse, I don't know. They're horrible and fucking always will be. As I have my chicken skewer. But I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I've been doing well in the last 2 weeks. It's not been a well time around our house. Like I say, the kids were getting over croup. And it's not like they're always kind of getting over something and then getting something again. And then inevitably the grown-ups get it too, right? But our immune systems are a little bit different. And it's difficult. Everyone's like, when will the cough stop? I'm like, June. When school's out. And we'll start again in September when school's back in. So you get a few months without all the coughing and sputtering and all that business. But again, it's episode 115 fucking episodes of this podcast. We're coming clean though. We're coming clean with all the dirt. All the dirt, the dirty stuff, the dirty rocker boys, the bands, the dirty old men, the dirty fucking teachers that I had. Dirty bosses, dirty people in the fucking music industry, predators, groomers. I'm not talking groomers in the Rockaholic Grooming Company. I'm not talking about your fucking hair. I'm not talking about like doing your hair. That's not the kind of grooming I'm talking about. All of ya, I'm coming for you. Even the ones that have employed me, like in healthcare and stuff like that. Like some dentist that thinks it's okay to call me into the room by tapping me on the ass with a chart, like after he's been in his office, getting drunk on fucking grappa. And then his patients are like, why does he shake? I'm like, well, withdrawals are a real thing. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, I've experienced like a lot of like sexual harassment in the workplace because dentistry, you gotta remember, that's a good old boys club. Still is. Even speak to any woman who's in dentistry these days. That's why I decided to leave that medical dentistry, dental nursing sort of part of the world. And like, of course, that I've had other jobs and stuff like that, but that corporate stuff made me really shake my head and realize how underappreciated you are in healthcare, especially in Ontario. I don't know about where anywhere else, but here, healthcare professionals are severely underappreciated and overworked and underpaid, and it's just shitty. So, and I'm not going to be fucking sexually harassed at work too, because I know people who have been sexually harassed at work that have like filed suits against their employers and won. Because the employers want to settle it up like quietly out of court. They just pay them some money and tell them to shut the fuck up and get out of there. So not a lot of it gets reported, but it does happen. It does happen. Not even, I don't know. Everyone's day of reckoning has fucking arrived. Everyone gets their day of reckoning. And now yours is here. So if you're listening to this and you're a fucking goddamn pedophile or someone who's felt me up, look out. Your day's coming. You're going under the bus. Like I say, this is how I transition into my things. This week's been a lot because, yeah, like, my mouth is, like, going nonstop. But, like, my DMs are lighting up nonstop with, like, stories that, like, blew my mind. Like, not only would they blow your mind, they blew, like, my mind. And I feel like at some point, I feel like I've kind of heard a little bit of it all. Like, I've heard everything. But people I know that have been assaulted or have dealt with violence in relationships or just intimate situations. They don't need to be relationships. They need to be intimate situationships and having to deal with the kind of violence and abuse that they've had to deal with, especially with fucking assholes here, or like people that I know. It's like, it's fucked. Like, it's really fucked because, like I say, this is a very cautionary episode of 21st Century Rocker Mom podcast with me, your host, Tanya Candler. And although I am the mouth of the southwestern Ontario, I bring you this tale and this episode of the podcast with caution and a trigger warning and a content warning, obviously. It's going to be explicit and it's going to be upsetting. You're going to get upset. I'm going to get upset. Everyone's probably going to get upset. And like I say, we're probably going to end up at the end of this, someone's going to cry. Probably me, because the stories I've been getting are wild, like fucking buck wild, man. Not Harvey Weinstein style, not Woody Allen like style, not those kinds of stories. But by the way, a double fuck you salute to like Woody Allen and Harvey Weinstein, because they're two fucking rapey bastards that are assholes. One pedophile and the other one pedophile and a rapist, probably on the Epstein list, you know, all those guys. Ridiculous! Fucking smut peddlers. But honestly, there's no business like show business. There's no business I know. And I'll tell you, I don't know many other businesses. I mean, I know obviously like the grooming business and the self-care business, and that's like it's my business now. But still, I work with it within show business and the entertainment industry, as far as like voiceover or music or anything like that goes. Even as far as the podcast goes, or as far as some new things that are coming down the pipe goes. As a female presenting person, doesn't matter what kind of woman I am, I present in a way, shape, or form that as a woman. I'm going to say, it's not that the music industry, I don't want to say in like oppression compared to the music industry has it bad and has it worse, like the women in the music industry have it worse than anyone else. But the music industry is bad. And I'm going to share with you my experiences. My experience is that it is bad. It was bad and nothing much has changed. Really, I don't know how it hasn't changed since the 90s. I mean, I'm old now, man. I've lived through it. And when I say I fucking lived through it, when I say it, like, I'm not joking, like, I lived actually through it. Like, there's so many other scenarios where I can imagine the other outcomes, possible outcomes, but I try not to live in those and muddle my way through those because I just lose my mind. I'm glad things turned out the way that they did. So let me blow your mind. Kick back. I'm going to take you back to about, I don't know, let's rewind to grade school for me. Grade school for me, I remember our first male teacher that it was I had male teachers and they were wonderful. Even my male grade 3 teacher, he was so lovely. Oh my gosh. And he was actually a partner of my grade 2 teacher who was kind of an asshole, but he wasn't a pedophile. Like, he didn't make me feel uncomfortable and gross in his class and make me feel like wiggly, like I didn't want to be around him. But I remember, this one resource teacher that we had, and he was an older man. He was tall and he was skinny. Like, he looked like a thin man. He looked at us like something out of scary stories to tell in the dark or something, like a shadow man that would come in the dark and scare you, like fucking, what's that movie? That scary man who that little kid makes up, a Babadook. He looked like a Babadook. He looked like the Babadook. And his name was, I can't say what his name is, but he was an older man and he always smelled like, he stunk of like cigarettes and like too many of those white peppermints that old people like carry in their fucking pockets and stuff. He was always dressed in the nines. He always like dressed like, Colonel Mustard with the fucking candelabra in the fucking library. He like had tiny little rectangle glasses that would hang over the edge of his nose like that. And they're small. And he'd look down his glasses at you and everything. He'd always be looking down your shirt. He was a fucking creep like that. And like I say, he always smelled like really bad pipe tobacco. Like he was really trying to cover up his habit. We all knew he smoked. Like, fuck, it was the 80s and early 90s for Christ's sake. But I was young. I was born in 83. So it was like, I'm old enough to know better. So by the time he's a resource teacher that's hanging around, and then we all kind of get a feel for him. And I remember sitting in class one day, and one of my friends got caught reading a book. It was like a horror book, and it was a scary one, like scary stories to tell in the dark, but it was called Shivers in Your Nightshirt. And I remember he was our substitute for the day. I remember he pulled her aside, and he put her in front of the class, and he said, so-and-so, her name, you're going to feel shivers in your nightshirt tonight. And I remember all of us kind of like, we were like in grade 6 probably at the time, 5 maybe. We all stood there like fucking frozen because we were like, oh my God, where's our homeroom teacher, number 1? And number 2, this crazy fuck is talking about shivers in our fucking pajamas and he's going to be there or something. Like, oh, he put the fear of disgusting in us. He put the Chester in the molester. He was gross. He had some allegations fly at him like through the years. Like, he gave me fucking night sweats. So high school, unfortunately, was no different. It was crawling and chock full of fucking nuts, too. Full of pedophiles and fucking assholes in high school. I remember, now I know, and I remember vividly why I fucking hate math and I'm no good at math. Because I was good in math up until high school. I got great marks in math up until high school. And then I remember the exact rubby back mathematics moment. Like, the teacher was like, I am an alien. I am carrying weapons of math instruction. Like, we come to this planet seeking to look down your fucking top, because he was gross. He was so disgusting. This teacher, let's just call him Mr. A, my math teacher. He got too kind of cozy, even though everyone thought he was just like a friendly, huggy sort of guy. He wasn't a friendly, huggy guy. He spent most of like my grade 10 math class looking down my fucking top. Like, it was like fucking disgusting. And like, if I needed math help, of course his hand would be on my back or the small of my back. I can remember all the time. I did not do well in math. And I actually flunked out of that class. No matter what I did, I guess I couldn't win. But then there was another teacher who wasn't looking down my top. Actually, he was a shop teacher. And he had this male shop teacher had an inappropriate relationship with a male student at our school in high school. And he was like quietly dismissed, like the teacher was. He's like still allowed to fucking like teach at other schools. That does not kick ass. That kicks my ass. That's not fucking cool. That's ridiculous. You're still allowed to teach kids? Like, what the fuck? Speaking of kicking my ass, Rob came home from a trip this week, and I always get him to buy me a funny hot sauce or anything that says something funny on it. And this is, don't make me open this jar of whoop ass roasted garlic hot sauce. So I'm going to open this jar of whoop ass. And this guy has a crazy cowboy hat on it. Like, I'm going to open a jar of whoop ass because there's a lot of folks that I'm talking about this week that need a jar of whoop ass opened on them because they've been such fuckheads that it's going to happen. I got myself some chicken stuff and some hot sauce, but like, people have done some really bad things. Like I say, chock full of nuts. It's illegal to like go kick a pedophile's ass or like beat up a pedophile or spit in a perpetrator's face or spit in a murderer's face, or if something you want to do like that. If you want to do that kind of thing, you can get an assault charge slapped on your ass. But they go and they do all those other things. I know people are like, oh, they get taken care of in prison. But what about the ones who don't? What about the ones who don't? Like the woman herders and the child herders. I know people say, oh, they'll go to prison, a woman abuser, and that's frowned upon in prison, which I know it is. But like, is it really good enough? Like, when someone's putting people at risk, we romanticize pedophilia, I think, a lot of the times. And I'm going to tell you what I think. In schools, these perpetrators, they just get rehab. And then they're back out on the street. What do the kids get? They get a lifetime of being fucked up is what they get. So we're going to try to open this can of whoop ass before I tell you why I think, comes in a nice dropper bottle actually, has a restrictor cap on it. This hot sauce has a fucking restrictor cap on it, so you can control exactly how much hot sauce comes out and how much you want to burn your freaking mouth off. Excellent. I got a lot of the whoop ass on there. Got a few more that I haven't tried yet. I want to try them. But honestly, what the fuck? How are they still allowed to teach kids after having a proven inappropriate relationship with a student? I want to cover this with a lot of whoop ass. It's a cayenne and garlic sauce. Whoa. It's hot. Whoa. It's hot, but it's got a ton of flavor. Like, I'm gonna have to say that this one, the heat, plus the ingredient balance, the acidity with the vinegar, the salt and everything, amps up the flavor. There's a lot of cayenne peppers in this, and habaneros and stuff. But it's a good burn. It's a good burn. A hot burn, but a good burn. Woo! Got Firestar over here, speaking of burning. Rob thinks because of my glasses that I look like this character, so he picked up this character for me. I still haven't opened it because I want to leave it like on card, like the people in the toy community say. I want to leave it there. Apparently, I gotta get a yellow bodysuit and dress up like this Firestar because Rob says it's funny. So, we're going to try that. Woo! The sauce is hot. But like I say, I think as a society on the whole, we romanticize pedophilia. I'll say it over and over again. We put so many things in schools, at work, and especially in the music industry. Priscilla just came out for everyone to see on Amazon Prime, and talks about, I don't like to oppression compare or anything, but it talks about cautionary tales in the music industry. And it blows the lid off this mamma jamma because think about how young Priscilla Bolio, not Priscilla like Presley, like before she was married. Think about how young Priscilla was when she met Elvis. She was 14 years old and he was 24. Let me ask you a question. If you're 24 years old, what are you doing hanging out with someone who's 14? Like, I'm just asking for a friend. What the fuck? Like, no one thought that was weird at the time. They weren't like, oh, this is strange. It is fucking strange. It's weird. It's not right. She was a literal fucking child, and he transformed her into someone much more mature and much older. She looked much older. He wanted her to look much older than she was, and therefore act much older and fall into a wheelhouse and a role and a narrative that maybe he made for her more than she wanted for herself, because she was so darn young, right? Like, she was young. Met her in Germany, and I know the relationship didn't start out as him having sex with a 14-year-old girl. It didn't start out that way. It started off with him writing her letters because he was so lonely in Germany, and that's where her dad was stationed too, and all this stuff. But like, that's grooming. Like, when you look at it, it's fucking grooming. He was just getting her ready for the inevitable, which is going to be sexual assault, because he's going to end up having sex with a minor. I'm pretty sure he didn't wait till her 18th birthday. I'm sure we didn't, like, weren't, sweet 16 and still a virgin. I don't think that happened. Getting young people ready for what will be abuse is grooming. It will never be abuse. Let's call it what it is. Statutory rape. That's exactly what it is. She's 16 and he's 26. I'm sorry, that's fucked up. Like, think about that. I don't even give a fuck if it's legal or where it's legal. Not legal in my house, honey. That's fucking fucked up. Nope. Let's call it what it is. Disgusting. And it goes both ways, too. It goes both ways for men and women. Asia Argento, when the 15-year-old, like when she was like my age. We've talked about that in other podcasts, and I'm not doing that one. Asia fucking had her day, and she got ripped and torn through the fucking mud because I don't like goddamn Asia Argento. Why? Number one, because what she did to Anthony Bourdain. She ruined his life and inevitably made him kill himself. That is another podcast altogether. But also, I don't like her because she's a child molester. I got another sauce for you. I got Chipotle extra hot Chipotle sauce from the president of the choice. I got this before Rob Laws went crazy and started increasing their prices. We had inflation. There's a sauce that my dad liked a lot. So he liked it because it was hot. I remember it used to be 98 cents a bottle. Now I think it's like $4. 98 cents a bottle. What the fuck? Bring back those 98 cent grocery prices, especially for hot sauce, because we go through hot sauce like crazy at this house. Like crazy. It's on everything. That one's awesome. It's kind of like a steak, chicken, whatever. It's like medium heat. Medium. I'll tell you, after Asia Argento had her day on the show, I got a lot of DMs from you guys being like, you're shitting on women and stuff like that. And, I am going to shit on a woman if she's a child molester. Just like I shit on a man. I don't care what you are, who you identify as, how you identify. A child molester is a child molester. And if you identify as a child molester, you're going under the bus. That's all there is to it. It makes me sick to my stomach. It's not cool, but I'm discussing the crisis, honestly, that is right now with women being injured and or dying by the hands of partners and perfect strangers. Straight women, gay women, BIPOC women, disabled women, trans women, non-binary people. Like, every walk and unwalk of life that somehow identify and present as female in any way are in danger. Young and old. Everywhere. Every demographic. Like, I feel like saying, like, nowhere is really safe because there's not a safe space. Because, like, everyone's like, oh, there's a safe space for women. No, there's not. Where is it? Blue-collar women, white-collar women, from doctors to lawyers to nurses to sex workers to strippers to police women to, like, honestly, to women who work for themselves, by themselves, delivery people, like, everything. If you're a woman, look out. Like, look out. Because every part of the world is crazy. There is a proper murder crisis right now and a rape crisis in India. And most people don't hear about those things because you don't watch places, things and news from places in other countries or all over the world. But I kind of try to keep my ear to the ground because I want to know what the fuck is going on. Because I live outside of, the walls of just living in fucking Canada. I kind of want to know what's going on with the world because I want to know. So yeah, huge sexual assault, murder crisis in India of young women from the same village. Not good. So now, because I have to tell you, this is staggering to me. I really find that more women shit on each other than men shit on women. Men do their fair share of hosing women, but way more women shit on women than men shit on women. And because we spend more time crapping on each other than we do holding each other up and cheering for each other and being cool with each other and stuff like that. Why? Why is this? We should be each other's cheerleading sections. We should be encouraging each other and egging each other on to do better. Not this shit. This is ridiculous. I don't know. I think we should be a cheering section for one another. And I'm kind of a girl's girl when it comes to that kind of thing. I'm not anyone's girl when it comes to that kind of thing. If you're doing something good, I'm going to cheer for you. Big time. Huge. Huge, 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 huge. If you're a good person, I'm going to clap back. Big time. Now, so we know what the dangers are and stuff like that. So what do we do? What do we do with these dangers and stuff like that? We put up walls and we grow a set of balls and we establish fucking boundaries. That's what we do. You gotta make boundaries. Like breaking up with someone when something traumatic happens. Oh, God. I should probably have some hot sauce to tell you about this traumatic breakup because it has to do with, this is peach habanero sauce. We're going to see how hot this is with peach habanero. It goes with chicken and pineapple. I like the thickness on it. Whoa, that's a lot. I had a boyfriend once make me a mixtape. And I didn't listen to, I didn't look on the label to what was on it. So he just put whatever he wanted on it. And he didn't have the best taste in music. We didn't listen to the same thing. So I got through some of the mixtape and I was enjoying most of it. It had some bouncing souls on it. It had some punk rock on it. And then that just the prize of the peach habanero sauce. Jesus. Me and my left foot. He put the song on it. And I was like, what the hell is this? I'm listening. I'm going through the song. And I'm going redder than a fucking beet. I'm losing it. I'm losing my shit. Because it is, it's ICP. It's in Clown Posse. It's when there was two of them. I don't know if the other one died or what happened. But it was disgusting. It was all about oral sex. And we hadn't done that together. So I was kind of like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, is this seriously? You're in to try to get me to let you drop on me or whatever? I was so fucking mad. I broke up with him immediately. I was like, you offended me. I'm pissed. I told him why. He's like, oh, I thought it would be a subtle hint. I'm like, subtle my ass. I was like, that is not subtle. So that was an instant breakup story because of being totally straight up objectified. It was bullshit. So yeah, that's what happened. So I got called a fucking prude for ending it with this guy. He was like, oh, you just got a stick up your ass and you're a prude because you don't want to sleep with me. I'm like, no, I didn't want to sleep with you because you're a slob. And it's been a couple days between showers for you. I'm not a prude. When women establish boundaries, we're bitches. We get bitches. She's fucking hard to work with. She's difficult. Ooh, she's got an attitude. Oh, she's got a temper. Trust me, all this shit has been said about me before. I know what it means. It means you're strong. And people get fucking intimidated by this, especially people with penises. I don't know why. I don't fucking know why. Like, people don't like strong women. So we get verbally abused, we get fired, we get canceled, we get called difficult, hard to work with. She's a real bitch. That's why part of the reason I work for me. Like, because I was like, I love me. Because I'm also a bitch. But, like, I will work with this bitch instead of working with that bitch or another bitch. I'm not difficult. I just know my worth. I know my value. Like Taylor Swift says, I'm wearing my 22 outfit right now. I don't know about you, but I am feeling, no, say I was feeling 62 sometimes inside, but I am really always feeling 22. I really don't care. I don't feel my age. Fuck that. You're only as young as you feel. Act your shoe size. I do. My shoe size is like 10. But I'll say, like, really, like, I know my value. And like Taylor Swift said, if I was a man, I'd be the man. But I'm just not a man. I'm a mouthy female. And that's what you're going to get with me. You're going to get mouthy lady stuff. Like, and like man stuff too. But like, I'm a mouthy woman. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I'm not afraid to like let it all out and smack this bottle on the ass so hard. Don't make me open a can of whoop ass. And I did open a can of whoop ass. Yeah. I'm blushing so hard right now and I'm sweating underneath my eyeballs. You can't see it, but I'm glistening like a hog. I'm glistening. I'm telling you. I remember when I started being hard to work with, way back in the day when I was in Kitty. And we had gone into a recording studio, like a return to recording studio to like record another session or whatever with the same like engineers and like producers and stuff that we had previously to that. And I remember our dads were with us. And some of the guys that were employed by the studio had made some really, really, really off comments about our bodies and how we had matured over the summer and how they wondered if us girls had gotten quote unquote breast implants over the summer. Well, our dads fucking flipped. Here are these guys, their age, asking a bunch of 15-year-old girls who's got new boobies over the summer because we all had a growth spurt, you know what I mean? And had hormones. So we changed, obviously. But like, you can see that with your eyes. Nobody else said anything. I mean, boys at school were pigs, but like a grown man saying that to a bunch of like young girls like us, our dads were pissed. I remember them specifically being pissed. That wasn't the first time. Like, we got it. We got objectified a lot. I don't know. The shit we got because we were like 15 was inexcusable, but we didn't realize it was inexcusable then. No, it is now. I remember even before John Finberg, I'm not gonna say his name freely because I think he's in jail. John Finberg, before he got like in big trouble, he was one of the biggest metal promoters ever. And he booked all the metal shows, Milwaukee Metal Festival, like you name it. If it had metal behind it, John Finberg had his name on it. So John was booking all these shows. He booked us at Milwaukee Metal Fest. Okay. There was all kinds of bands playing there. There was the Misfits. There was Cradle of Filth. There was Today is the Day. There was Nosm. There was Nile. There was... You fucking name it. There was every fucking 36 Crazy Fist. There was... Oh my God. There was so many bands at this Metal Fest. It was great. And there was a few friends that we knew there. We met a few people there that we knew. And then it was like... I think it was like around like 99, 2000. We're up at Milwaukee Metal Fest and we're playing whatever. And we got passes around our necks and the VIP bracelets and whatever. So we can be backstage and get supper and everything. And we played a set where we played, and then the Misfits played, and it was like Cradle of Filth. It was like a cool lineup, but there was a very gross story after this. And there was a cattle call for food. So it was just kind of like, ting-a-ling-ling-ling-ling, everybody get backstage, let's go, everybody, there's like a tent, and there's some picnic tables, and there's some other little tables set up, just like, with like, plastic chairs and tables with, tablecloths over them. Nothing super fancy, like just, well, there's like lots of food. There's like trays of like lasagna and trays of like spaghetti and sandwiches, and like there's like everything that like, and like there's salads. So like even if you're a vegetarian or you're a vegan, like in those days it was like a free for all. Like we all just ate on a buffet. Nobody ordered specialty things that they wanted. It was just kind of pick out what you want. So it was kind of nice. So we went to go line up for food. And John Finberg comes walking up to us girls. And it was just the four of us at this time. And he looked at us, and he saw the passes around our neck that said Milwaukee Metal Fest performer, and he was just like, what the fuck are you girls doing back here? And one of us was like, we're playing, we're just getting dinner. Like, I'm like, all I wanted was a piece of like lasagna, like, right? Like, all I wanted to do was get a fucking piece of like lasagna and a glass of milk because I'm like 15. And of course, like my mind is in my stomach. I'm hungry, man. I just played a show. I'm so hungry. I just burned so many calories. I just want to eat. Fucking playing a show makes you go fucking crazy after. So, and then the adrenaline after too, right? So I just want to get my food. He had the audacity to say to us, he's like, I don't know what the fuck you girls are about doing backstage because there's only a few reasons a woman should be backstage. And one of them is to be down on her knees sucking cock. And I remember two of the girls in the band's dad walked up behind it as he was saying this to us. And like we saw him in the background. So like our eyes, of course, were like as wide as dinner plates because we're like, oh fuck. I'll tell you, this guy got it all right. He got it before he got busted by the cops for all kinds of fucking horrible Weinstein type shit. Rape stuff, sexual allegations, all that kind of stuff, and sexual assault, proven stuff. He got to write Kitty an apology note about being a fuckhead to us at Milwaukee Metal Fest and being so mean and saying all those mean things to us and like telling us that we shouldn't be there, and if we, were there, we should be on our knees and stuff like that. Like I said, he got busted. He got busted real good for a lot of the stuff that he did. I'm sure there's stuff that's still gone unreported because there is a percentage of it that is high. And it's higher in Canada that goes unreported. Whoa. It's crazy. So be on the alert for that. Like I say, I don't know who has that apology letter now. Like what member of Kitty. But it was hanging on the wall, like in a frame for like the longest time. Because it was funny. Like, it was such a kiss-ass apology. I was like, you're kidding. I'm so sorry. It was like a crying letter. It was good. But, like I say, the guy never learned a lesson. Like, he didn't lay one single fucking hand on us. But the shit that he said was so detrimental. I remember it now. And I'm 41 years old. He said this shit to us when we were 15. But also, please note that, trigger warning, now we're going to get into some bad stories because like one of my first kisses was, and you know this, was one of the members of the Misfits at the time. And I'll tell you, I was 15 and he was 39. I was just honestly like a young girl, and I was very, very like fortunate to feel like accepted and really flattered to feel like cool that an older guy was like, oh, I like her, or I pick her, you know what I mean? I'm gonna put my tongue in her mouth. Like, what would Jesus do? I don't know. Like, fuck, I don't know. I didn't know what to do, so fuck, I just went with it. And that was like one of my first like real kisses. Like, I had like a few, like a 5 minutes in the closet with some guy who was too afraid to kiss me or whatever. But by that time, oh man. Oh my God. Not good. Not good. Not good. And then like another like member of the band who was like well into his 40s, mid 40s, way older than any of our parents, was like carrying me around, and I was wearing a bra and underwear, and we have pictures. Like, I mean, like, yeah, it was before Facebook and YouTube, but we did have like cameras, and we did develop film. I don't even know how like Walmart like developed that like roll of film. They're probably like, what the fuck's going on here? Who's she with? Misfits. Oh God. But like say they're like my punk rock heroes, so I thought they were treating me special and I was important, and I thought it was cool, and they all knew how old we were. Like, that's the only thing that I'm just like, hold on. This is fucked up because they all knew how old we were. They all knew how old we were. And that was our thing, because we were like, that was our calling card. We were like 15-year-old girls playing metal, and like we were loud and rah. And, that was the big thing. Kitty was this new young sensation breaking onto the breaking onto the scene of everything, breaking through the ceiling of things, like really like shattering things. And people knew that. So people like knew our age. So that almost makes it more disgusting, because yeah, there was like a lot of situations that I'm glad didn't turn out worse, to be honest. Shit could have turned out way worse. And I'm just glad that we had excellent like supervision and care and like handling and stuff. I will say this, like when it comes to like PR, our handling and our supervision, and the care that was taken to make sure that we were like okay, that was big. That was really big. That was big. I always think of the alternative outcomes, because other bands, older bands, that make me nervous. Male dominated bands, they had women on the road while they had women at home too. Like, this is the thing. And I mean, girl bands do this too. They have people on the road while they have partners at home. They're like, what happens on the road stays on the road. And I don't believe in that philosophy. That's not my thing. Never has been. Never will be. Don't cheat. If you want to fucking go out and do it, just tell the other person you're done and then go fucking do it. Go get fucking dick down like crazy. I don't care what you do. Oh, Jesus. At least end it with one person before you start it with the other person. Underage women, oh my God, being basically essentially sexually assaulted by so many Canadian and American bands. And you loved these bands when you were in high school. I know that I did. There was a girl in my grade 10 class, and she, I remember, was having just a sexual relationship, purely sexual, it was just sex. Because there was no texting back then, because we didn't have cell phones. She was in my grade 10 photography class. And she was having sex with a guy in a band, a really famous Canadian band. And they would rent hotels in London and stuff like that. And she would go to VIP concerts like with this band and stuff like that. And then she'd go and she'd sleep with the drummer. And like he'd promise her fucking the moon, and she'd tell us about it on, Monday at school. And I remember the movie Almost Famous kind of coming out, and us saying stuff to her like, do you ever feel like Penny Lane? Because like they're so old and you're so young. And then like another friend of mine, she slept with like the singer of a band, and like she didn't know, but he knew how old she was. He's another famous Canadian like band, and they won like Junos, and they changed their name a few times, but he's still a pedophile. And he slept with her, and she was 15, and he was in his late 30s, probably 31, 32. I don't know, different band. Same fucking pedophile behavior. I remember like it's yesterday. It's like I was talking to a friend in a female band the other day, and she was in an all-girl band like me. She's been in a lot of like all-girl bands and all-girl acts and played with mostly like female-presenting people, and I've played with her before. And there was a point where we just talked about how we just kind of wanted to like hide in a corner and like be in a tracksuit and like kind of like dress like Billie Eilish does, like be covered up and fucking shit, because like we didn't want any more commentary on our bodies or what was going on with them, because there was so much commentary on our bodies in the 90s. And were we skin enough and were we thin enough, and we're, Tanya, you know what, you should probably have the salad and not the steak. Or if you're going to have the steak, have it with the salad. Don't have any potatoes or any carbs or anything. Like people trying to get teenagers on low carb diets, like then, you know, it's whack, man. Like, don't have that extra slice of pizza. I'm just like, no, I'm gonna have an extra slice of pizza. I have put on 10 motherfucking pounds in the last 2 weeks, and I think that it's 10 pounds of me being so cute. I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks at all. I think that I look way cuter. Just a little bit roly-poly, or I look a little bit cuter with my clothes off, actually. I'm not gonna lie. You can ask Rob, he'll tell you. He'll tell you. Ask the internet. Ask the internet. I was gonna say, ask the internet. Oh, God. But tracksuits are really important to me because, like, I felt like I was saying, everyone was just talking about our bodies at that time. And a lot of girls dealt with, like, a lot of body shaming issues and so many issues, like, surrounding the body in general, like guilt and shame and sex and, like, the weight stuff and already being, like, kind of, like, pre-groomed. There was a lot of like normalization of this behavior, and it was really normal for us to be already groomed and people to comment on our bodies. And even things like people, I remember being little and people being like, oh, do you have being like kindergarten or grade 1 and being moms being like, oh, do you have a boyfriend? That's so cute. And I'm like, no, I don't have a fucking boyfriend. I'm fucking 6. The fuck's wrong with you? Like to play in the sand and shit. Got sand in my vagina. What the fuck do you got, bitch? Oh, fuck. It's crazy. It's just like violence and being rude to women was just something you not only lived with, but you dealt with. And you definitely, I think I witnessed a lot more initially than other people did. Like festivals, too, were the hardest. So many bands and so many people going. And like even when you're playing a festival, like you're jumping into the crowd and you're getting like felt up, which is fucking disgusting and it's the worst feeling ever. It's so violating. Because you're there to connect with the crowd and like talk to people and stuff like that. And like touch them and give them a hug and shake their hand and give them a high five or whatever, a fist bump or whatever the fuck. But not to be like felt up and fucking shit. That's fucked up. I remember Courtney Love saying stuff about that and being upset about being sexually assaulted when she crowd surfed. And it's something to be upset about. Festivals were so hard. Like I say, one of the hardest things about festivals as a festival goer was going to the festivals and being like felt up by, they were all male security guards at the time when I went. There was never a female security guard, so you couldn't get around that. So like we got around all kinds of things. With number one friend would bring a breast pump and a cooler with her. And in the cooler, she'd bring bags of breast milk, sealed breast milk. And it was fucking really strongly mixed pina coladas, like really fucking strong pina coladas. And then for me, because they wouldn't search your tits, I'd either make my hair really big or my boobs, I put doobies in the boobies and I just put a cigarette case in my pocket that was empty. And so I'd be like 15, 20, 30 joints and we'd be smoking weed all night. This is before it was legal. Smoking weed and getting drunk on breast milk with like this girl who had a breast milk because they can't ask you what are you doing. She's like, oh, you know, I got to keep this breast milk cold. You know, my baby's at home. And like the security guards, of course, just, they're not saying shit because they're just like, oh, fuck, this lady's got breast milk. I'm not going to fuck with this bitch. I don't have time for this shit. So you know what I mean? So that's how we snuck pina coladas in. So we drink like breast milk pina coladas. We just pour it into a glass or we'd always have like a cup of something. What do they call like a... They call it some kind of zombie juice or something now. I forget what they call it, but the kids at the university drink it and they pass around a big jug of it and it gets you drunk really fast. But we had our own version of that when we were kids. We certainly didn't act like the kids did at school now. Like we weren't on rooftops and sexually assaulting each other and blocking off streets and fucking shit like that. No, thank you. That was not our thing. We'd rent a cottage and like somebody would like fall in a pond or some shit. Like that's the kind of shit we would done. None of that. Like I think I saw many abusive relationships start as young as high school. Like girls' high school boyfriends like slapping them around like after dances. Like when we were waiting for our parents to pick us up or something like that. I remember one girl I saw, she was like 15 and her boyfriend was like 17. I remember him being older. I remember he slapped her and everyone just kind of sat there like, what the fuck just happened? Like, are you fucking serious right now? Like, did that just happen in real life? He just hit her? you shitting me? But yeah. That kind of shit happened all the time. And no one fucking said anything. There's so much intimate partner violence, especially seeing like a friend getting like smacked at 15. And this was like a same friend who I knew got like molested by a family member, a male family member. And like, so seeing her getting hit too, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what did she do? There's so much intimate partner violence. There's so much intimate family violence, like domestic violence and relationship violence and things like that. Oh my God. It's ridiculous. Now this girl from high school, the thing too is, the worst thing is she didn't marry this guy. I've got some hair in my face here. Thanks, Taylor Swift. She didn't marry this guy, but she ended up marrying a guy who is just, because I knew her brother, she ended up marrying a guy who was just like him, except lazier. And she's still black and blue. Like, she still gets smacked around. It's just really sad to see that, like, that cycle sometimes does not stop and that cycle of violence goes. And a lot of women that have complaints over being, you know, hurt by, you know, their partner, and they keep going back, and it's hard for them to leave because it takes, like, there's average time that it takes to leave and try to get away from a partner before you're hurt, or worse. Like, I've experienced it myself, like domestic violence and stuff like that, and I've been a victim of domestic violence. This is where I cross my arms and get really standoffish. But like I say, not in this relationship, not with Rob or whatever. But I've definitely experienced domestic violence brought down on me before in numerous relationships. Not in my current relationship, but in past relationships, plural. I have experienced domestic violence. I'm very lucky to be here. And I'm very lucky to not... I don't want to say I'm really lucky to be in a relationship where I don't experience domestic violence, because everybody deserves that. Holy fuck. I'm happy to be in a relationship where I don't experience domestic violence. I'll say that. Like, fuck. I can't say the same about a lot of women that I know. I've lost too many girls and women that I know to this kind of violence and typical violent behavior. Even my mom lost a friend this way. She was younger, and one of her friends... Her friend's sister had gone Christmas shopping with her husband at the time, and they were newlyweds and stuff like that, and they were drinking and stuff like that, and I think anger got involved, and God knows what happened, but she was living on like the 9th floor of an apartment building, and she fell off the rail, which was like huge. And so her brother was a cop, and he investigated the scene. And I mean, there's a murder scene, and there's the death scene. There's like the scene around the body, telling you what happened, and the cops get like the scene. They get the scene, like the murder scene or the fall scene. They get to tape that off, but the medical examiner gets the body, and it looked like she'd been pushed. So there's a lot of stuff like that, but apparently she fell. This guy went on to go marry again, didn't get any jail time, nothing. It fucking pisses me off, because people like that are pieces of shit. We need safety prevention. We need rescue rings. We need all those locations turned on. I know a lot of girls who've done the first date, last date thing. They've gone on a first date with someone, and then it ends up being their last fucking date. It happened to someone I know's sister. She just never came home. She went out for dinner and just didn't come home. Or went out for lunch with someone, didn't come home. It's just hard. We had a guy who was a huge fan of the Candy Darlings. He used to stalk the Candy Darlings. He used to send me all kinds of emails, tons and tons of inappropriate emails and instant messages and ICQs to the Candy Darling stuff. He was from New Jersey. And he was super older than us. He was like probably 40 already when we were like 18. Not right. Again, wrong. 40? Come on. He wanted to know if there was a Waffle House he could come and take us to. And I was like, no, we don't have Waffle Houses in Canada. So he started coming to see us and coming to call the office to come and see us and stuff like that. And it was really creepy. He came down when we played with Biff Naked, and he came down and got his picture taken with us. And like, I think there's a picture of me with him, and I posted on my Instagram. I'm really drunk, and you can see the age difference, and it's really staggering to see someone that age being so coy with such a young person. Because like, you wouldn't see that nowadays. It's just not. It's not fucking normal. It doesn't look right. It's not right. And I remember my mom and my friend's mom, who was in the band with me, they followed his fucking ass out of town to make sure he left. And they got his license plate. They were like, fuck you, you asshole. Good for them. Even now, though, I still get infantilized, which is weird. Am I frozen? Am I frozen at 16? I'm frozen at 16, which is kind of sick when you think about it. It's weird for me because not only do people see me as 16-year-old me, I do see me as 16-year-old me sometimes too. I look in the mirror and that's all I see. But now I'm wise. I'm experienced. I know things. I've done things. I've seen things. I guess it's the only way to gain true knowledge about anything is to be completely immersed by it and to experience it and go through it yourself. The only way out, a lot of the times I say it, is through it. You gotta live through it to get through it, I guess. It's hard to explain. So why aren't we doing more to protect women? Why? Our bodies, our rights, you know what I mean? Our freedoms, everything. There's some places where your hat has more rights than a woman does. In the 90s, it was, all those self-defense courses and, karate chopping people and rape whistles, and that shit's kind of cute. But it doesn't work in our fucking world. This world is fucking sick. This world is so fucking sick. That stuff doesn't work anymore. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. I mean, my city is on the music map. Look it up, because it is. We got on the map also because Usher, the singer Usher, raped a girl here in our city during one of his concerts, got her pregnant, and now she's floating around somewhere with his child. Class act, Usher. Amazing. Murder city, sexual harassment city. London is bad. It's sexual assault city too. It's a horrible place for stuff. What can we do then? What can we do? What can you do? What can I do? Well, you can't sit around bitching about it. That's one thing. Being an armchair vigilante is going to get us almost probably nowhere. You don't want to just be an armchair warrior and bitch about it. You want to get down on the ground and do something. Give money to causes that help women, actually help women. Their GoFundMes, things that are worthy causes, things that you can get behind, things that you can give to. I just need you need to report things. We can't leave things unreported. Up to 80% of things go unreported in Canada. 50 to 70% in America unreported. But 80% in Canada, we really do have manners. We don't tell on anybody. Come on, Canadians, blow the whistle, tell, report that shit. It's alarming. I make up that 80% because for a long time, some of the stuff that happened to me, I didn't tell. I didn't tell anybody, especially not the police. Because I didn't trust them at the time. We need to leave the 25% that say, I'm staying, because 25%, 1/4 of women stay in abusive relationships. And they just stay there. We need to get that 25% out of there. And we need to share our stories of how 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men become casualties of abuse. It's really bad. It's really bad. This takes an average of 7 attempts for anyone to leave an abusive relationship. 7 attempts before they leave or they get killed in an abusive relationship. That's how it kind of happens. We need to educate people because if we don't keep up the conversation is not going to go anywhere. And we need to go places because we're losing people to death and worse because of fucking violence in interpersonal relationships. And even with, how do I put this? Not real super relationships, just people that you know. Be an ally, support causes that you believe in. I'm actually going to leave a link with you this week. I'm going to leave a link with you this week because unfortunately, I lost someone very loved last week. Really loved in a very unfortunate way. Taking my glasses off because, this one's going to hurt. So I'm going to put a link up. I don't usually do this, but it's a GoFundMe because justice has got to be served for this person. It was my friend's sister, and she lost her life really tragically and brutally and way too short and way too soon. And we want to make sure we get justice for her. And I'm really hell-bent on that. I mean it, my friends. Be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Treat everyone with love. Honestly, especially the ones that are really challenging and the ones that are challenged to love. Try to love them even more and lead with love. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in, bring in the hugs, bring in the love, all that stuff. Light a candle, say a prayer, do a meditation, anything like that. Let light go to wherever it needs to go. Hug your loved ones, whether it's your partner or your kids or your pets or whoever. Your parents, I don't care. Your siblings, just be there for one another and make sure you always check in on your happy friends. Check in on your happy friends. They be the ones that are suffering silently. Check in on everybody. Until next time, I will see you again on the Flip Flop. For me, your friend and host of your favorite podcast and mine, 21st Century Rocker Mom podcast with me, your host, Tanya Candler. I will see you guys on the Flip Flop. Bye.